This is Vigneto, a podcast.
From the sun and soil they grow, from the land and sea they roam, drinking wine in the great unknown.
I'm Susannah Gold. I'm a wine educator, brand ambassador, writer, and marketer with a keen interest in both new and old world wines. My websites are vignetocommunications.com and susannahgold.com. And of course, I have a wine blog at vineyards.com. I'm particularly keen on Italy, where I lived for 15 years. While I do consider myself a wine geek, I love to look at wine from all aspects. One of the things I want to do with this podcast is delve into the many facets of the wine world, looking at it from multiple points of view. The podcast will have different series, and for the next 10 weeks, I will be discussing the topic of sustainability with my friend and fellow wine lover, geek, and expert, Sunny Gandara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny, and I've worked in multiple facets in the wine industry over the past 15 years or so. Currently, I'm the U.S. brand director for Querciabella, which is an Italian winery located in Tuscany, and I have a special interest in vegan and organic wines. I'm also the global wine director for Matthew Kenny Cuisine, which is a worldwide plant-based hospitality and restaurant group. A trained chef and food and wine blogger on the side, where my focus is on pairing wines with plant-based dishes. I want everyone to discover the enormous, exciting, and delicious world of plants and the gastronomic pleasures you can get eating a vegan diet with a glass of wine, of course.
Of course. I'm actually trying to go in that direction, Sunny, so it's thanks to you if I ever become vegan. So, we're here with Ilaria Petitto, a wine producer from Donnachiara Winery in Irpinia, which is in Campania, Italy. Hello and welcome, Ilaria. We are so excited you're here to join us for our third episode in our sustainability series. It's always great to view a topic from another point of view. We've got a lot of questions to ask you about your winery and your view on what's happening in Italy. So my first question to you is, what are you doing at Donnachiara in terms of sustainability in the soils, with water, with air?
Yes, hello. So thank you for inviting me. This is a very important topic, I believe. So I think that at Donnachiara we born sustainable because it was my mother in 2005 to establish the winery, and she was very open-minded at that time because she already did, for instance, everything here to be sustainable. So she did a solar implant to give the power, to provide the power to the winery. She did an implant to collect the raining water that we use here at the winery. And also she started to train the vineyards here around the winery as organic. So she really understood that it is important to be, to pay attention, to take care of our environmental, and of course for everybody that work in the agricultural field. This is very important. So we born sustainable, and of course this is our philosophy. We keep this line this way, and now so we have the production of Fiano di Avellino, which is certified as organic, and also we did some years ago another certification, Viva, that also is for sustainable winery. So we keep this philosophy in order to try, of course, to not affect our environmental, our ambience, of course, that we want to keep safe as much as we can.
Yeah, so Campania is known for growing largely native varieties, right? Which gives the region an advantage when it comes to being able to more easily adapt sustainable and organic winemaking methods, because native varieties are more adapted to the local conditions and therefore require less manipulations or inputs to produce produce quality wine. And what's your view on this? And are you or other growers taking advantage of this in the region?
Yes, I know many producers that are already organic, or they are converting their vineyards to organic train. The point is that, as you said before, not all the grapes has the same capacity to react to the attack of the disease. And so, for instance, we do the organic training with Fiano di Avellino here in Montefalcione, because Fiano di Avellino is a kind of grape that, because it's a late harvest varietal, so it's a plant, it's a grape that have to resist on the vines for longer, because we harvest Fiano end of October. So these grapes has this natural power to resist to the disease, and so it's easier. But for instance, with another indigenous varietal for white, which is the other GOCG here in Avellino, Greco di Tufo, the Greco grapes are very delicate, so it is so difficult also to follow the right maturation of this grape, that with the Greco is very difficult sometimes to be 100% organic. And so in general here in Irpinia, the most used training system is Lotta Integrata, which is one step before the organic. And now this Lotta Integrata is also a certification, because of course it's for wineries that are very sensitive to the pesticide use. So we use a small quantity of pesticide where we do the Lotta Integrata, but this is not 100% organic.
What about Falangina? Is Falangina a grape that could be cultivated organically in your view?
Yes, I think so. Also because Falangina is the variety that we harvest as a first. And then Falangina, it depends also where, because in Campania you have Falangina everywhere. So we have Falangina in Napoli, in Benevento, in Avellino, on the coast and inland. I believe that maybe on the coast it's easier instead of here in Avellino, because you know that Avellino has a continental weather. It's very cold in winter, very humid, very rainy. So here is very difficult to do the organic training on these kind of grapes. We can tell you that the most resistant grape for white is Fiano di Avellino for sure, and the Aglianico also can be made trained as organic, because also Aglianico is a late harvest varietal, so it's very rich in polyphenols and also the element that help the fruit to stay on the vines for so long, until the end of November, with rain and cold and humidity, and still keep the fruit very safe.
That's very interesting. I hadn't thought, I love Sunny's question. I hadn't really thought about each of the different varieties and why one grape is easier to train in an organic method rather than another. So in terms of Campania, in Irpinia, because you're in the mountains and because it is a continental climate, do you see a lot of producers looking to be organic, or just a few? And are some of them more biodynamic? Kind of, what are you seeing in terms of the number of people in your particular part of Campania?
I can tell you that there are many small producers. They are organic also because sometimes it's very expensive, to take care of the vineyards, and with different treatment and products. And so in the past, for instance, when I went to visit different small producers with a US journalist that was a friend, and he asked to me to be his guide here in Irpinia. We saw these vineyards, and they were organic for sure, because they were not using product, just taking care of the vineyards in a very rustic way. Now I can tell you that many producers that I know, big also producers and the medium producers, are doing this conversion to organic, because it's maybe it's a trend, and maybe they really understood that it is important, also because there are many regional law that are now paying attention to the pollution. So there are some regional law that tell us that it's forbidden to use some product during the vineyards treatment, and so it's natural to move to the use of something which is more natural and less aggressive, and also because maybe the market is asking for this product. So many big wineries of course are producing organic wine.
I was going to ask you, do you find your customers, because I know you have loyal customers who visit you in Campania and who here in the United States and in other parts of the world, are they starting to ask for organic wine? Do they talk to you about sustainability and ask you those kind of questions?
To be honest, I see this attention only from a few countries. Sometimes countries where you have the monopoly, and so sometimes the monopoly use this tool like organic wines to make a choice, among so many different wines. The problem is that often they are not open to pay more for organic product. And so I can tell you, for instance, that our Fiano di Avellino organic, which is more expensive compared to the other Fiano, is not selling well like the other one, because when they have to pay more because the product is organic, they are not ready to pay for this. So this is something that really disappointed me, because of course we know that to train the vineyards as organic is very expensive, because you have to do almost something every week or every day, in the vineyards. So we do, for instance, this with our Fiano, because the vineyard is around the winery. So we really see everything, and we can be very ready to do something if, for instance, it's raining a lot. So it's expensive, and I don't see from the market the attention to be ready to pay more for organic products.
It wants organic, but nobody wants to pay for it. Nobody realizes the amount of work it takes. And working with an organic winery myself, I know exactly how much work goes behind it, and how expensive it can be. My question was, like, besides the financial aspect, what do you think you kind of started to answer it, but what do you find is the most challenging aspect of organic or sustainable winemaking?
I can tell you that it is, first of all, very difficult to get the organic certification every year. For instance, 2 days ago, I got an email from the office that do the checking, not from the office that gives the certification, but from another office that generally can do analysis, checking on the wines. They took our bottles, they did some analysis on the wine. They wrote to us to inform us that in the analysis they found a small quantity of something which is not possible on organic wines, but it was so minimal that even the office said that this is accidental. It's very difficult to have the certification, because when, for instance, you are in a place where other producers have their vineyards around you, you cannot be sure that they don't affect your vineyard with their product. So it's a challenge in terms of that you do all your efforts and your vineyard sometimes for something that is not your fault. Can be that you lose the certification or stuff like that. Then I can tell you that it's very, in general, working with nature, and this is a challenge, because every year we are having something. The weather is changing a lot. So even if there are so many research in terms of helps producer, but we lose the production almost half of the quantity every year. So right now I don't see a big difference between the vineyards that we train as organic and the other vineyards that we train as lotta integrata, because every year we have something from the weather that affect one or the other vineyards. So it doesn't depend on the treatment that we do, but it's something that we cannot control. Of course, as a philosophy, I hope that the fact that now the countries are paying more attention to health and to protect nature and the environment from the pollution. Of course, I know that many pesticide or many products like this can really affect also people, but I think that this is something that really is not about wine, but is more about the agricultural in general. In Campania, for instance, we have a big section of agricultural company, and so in wine I saw the attention for the nature and for the the health since the beginning. I don't think this problem is related to the vineyards and to the wine. Not in Campa, not in Irpinia, where all the producers are small mainly, and so they do and healthy and very good production.
I have a question about do you think that with the changes that we're going to see from climate change, do you think it will make it easier or harder to do organic?
Harder, for sure, because we are having, for instance, tropical storms here that we never saw before. I can tell you that since I'm doing this work here at the winery, the last 4 years, we saw a big change. The temperature is changing. We are having, come si dice, grandine, hail.
Mm-hmm.
Hail, frost, almost every year.
Wow.
So we have a so big also fluctuation. For instance, sometimes in April is a summer, and after 2 weeks is a winter, and we have a frost, and then we have hail. The region is helping, of course, a lot in terms of financement that they give to the producers. But when you lose the 50%, 40% of the production, then even if there is nothing that you can do. I'm talking about small production, because here in Irpinia, as you know, we don't have huge vineyards like in Sicily or in Puglia. We have very small vineyards, 2-3 hectares, the medium size of the vineyards, because we do quality wines, the OCG wines, and so I can tell you that the climate is the first thing which is affecting us. So with the organic treatment, is very difficult to try to save the vines, the vineyards from all these.
That makes a lot of sense and is worrisome but understandable.
So with that, do you know sort of how many percentage-wise, how many wine growers in Campania do farm organically or choose to farm, even though they're not certified, but they may adopt organic techniques? Do you have any idea of sort of the percentage in total for the area?
I don't know the exact percentage, but also because here, to give you an idea, only in Avellino province, we have about 300 wineries, but there are like 10 wineries that are well known and has a medium big production, and then there are 290 that are very, very small. And then out of Irpinia, out of the province of Avellino, I really don't know, for instance, in Benevento, where we have the very big wineries, because we have the cooperative. The big cooperative are concentrated in Benevento area. And so there, I don't think they are organic, because they have so many producers that gives their grapes to them, because they are, very, very big, huge in Benevento area. In Naples and in Salerno, I really don't know the percentage of organic, but I can tell you that here in Irpinia, I'm sure that is quite big, because it's now, the trend is to, the conversion. And I know many producers that are in conversion since already 4, 5, 6 years. Susannah, also Teresa, for instance, Petilia, also do you remember Case d'Alto that we did the video together in their vineyards?
Yes.
Yeah, all of them are organic, but small producers mainly are organic.
It's interesting. I was thinking about something you said before, which is something that I firmly believe, that even if you're organic, if your neighbor is not organic, it's very hard to get certification, because what things will come into your fields that may not be from your winery, but might be from a neighbor's winery. So I know that,
yes.
I know you have a very big vineyard of Fiano in Irpinia. So you might not have any neighbors around you in that big vineyard. Is that right?
Yeah, here in Montefalcione, because I'm up of the hill. So, even if there are other vineyards, for instance, Mastro Berardino is just down my vineyards with vineyards of Fiano d'Avellino, but I'm up, so I'm okay. But in the area where I have the Aglianico in Torrenocelle, is a flat area, because it's 300 meters above the sea level, and I'm surrounded by other vineyards. This is why there we do the lotta integrata, we don't do the organic, because I can tell you that here in Montefalcione, even if we are up of the hill, each time that we have some, controller, they always find an accidental, very, limited quantity of something that you can never, avoid.
I mean, that just seems to me kind of inevitable, unless the entire district or the entire area declares that they want to go organic. I don't see how you couldn't find traces of substances that perhaps in another field, even not so close, might use. So sort of, yeah, please.
But another thing that I can tell you is that, for instance, before I mentioned that the region Campania is giving money for to help the producer to train the vineyards, but the amount of money that they give for the lotta integrata is bigger compared to the amount that they give for organic training. I don't know why.
That doesn't make a lot, but okay.
That maybe also this is the reason why not everybody go immediately to organic, because you get more money, more help if you do this lotta integrata, which is since a long time the training that the European community, maybe because it's something that you can do in more countries, because of course European community, when they think about wine, they have not the same mind that we have in Italy or in France, where the wine is part of the tradition, but they have to think for wine in all the European countries, and so the lotta integrata maybe is the training that can be used everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of answered it a little bit earlier that you said that there were trends of wineries converting to organic. I don't know if there's anything else that you see happening when it comes to sustainable farming. Is there more awareness? Is there more desire to sort of move in that direction, or are people still kind of being held back financially, or what do you see in sort of overall movement?
I can tell you, for instance, that now I have also relation with a big winery which is in north of Italy, Mezzacorona, and they are doing a lot in terms of sustainability. I think the concept is a little bit, different. Sustainability is bigger, that it's means much more than just to be organic in the vineyards. I believe that this trend that is, of course, starting from big wineries such as Mezzacorona, but many others in north of Italy, is something that will be something that will be bigger, and I think will go from north to all the Italian region in the next future, because also in the recovery fund, all this is focused on sustainability. So now each winery is thinking that this is the only way to go, to survive and to try to be among the wineries that are doing the right thing, the right way. So I think that sustainability should be, as I said before, the only way of thinking for people that work in agricultural field. So I hope that this will be something, will be a philosophy, not just in wine, because generally people that work in wine are already paying a lot of attention to this, but also to agricultural in general, because sometimes in other field they are thinking more to the business instead of thinking to protect the environment.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also what you brought up about sustainability being a much larger term, not just about being organic in the field, if you will. And we actually did cover some topics on our first podcast, where we just kind of went over what that entails, and obviously also how you treat your workers and how you
exactly
your local environment and towns and such. But thank you. That was very eye-opening, what you were talking about, what's going on in Campania. And you often think about, because we are told, you have ideal growing conditions, but how climate change really has affected you, and that now it may be even hard. It may actually be hard and not easier. So I think that's something to think about, and maybe we should all try a little harder to take care of our Mother Earth, right?
It's expensive, it's expensive. Working in the wine generally is very expensive in general. Doing an organic training when you do things, not just living the vineyards, living his own life, but when you want to keep the vineyards in the perfect condition and be organic, you have to have people, employees dedicated to this every week, and this is expensive. So I think it's also all the things have to work together. Also the market, the consumers have to be open to understand that they have to pay a little bit more for something which is healthy, healthier compared to the regular product. Otherwise, how the wineries can afford this,
Absolutely. Yeah, we all have to chip in for sure.
Well, that was a great kind of last part of our podcast, because that's exactly how we both view sustainability. Even if Sunny doesn't love the word, we agree about the fact that it encompasses more than just being organic in the vineyard. So it's really great to hear that you see it that way. And in fact, I think my view of sustainability is a little bit informed by all the Italian producers I speak to and the way the Italians use the word sustainability, because here in America, sometimes the part that has to do with employees, we put under the topic of social responsibility. But I know in Italy, it's kind of subsumed into sustainability. So it was so great to speak to you this morning, Ilaria. I really thank you for coming on and joining Sunny and I in this journey in our weekly podcast. So thank you so much. It was great to see you.
Thank you, Sunny and Susannah.
Thank you
so much. Thank
you so much for coming. Well, that was another great episode. I'm looking forward to our talk next week with Jason Haas of Tablas Creek Winery from Paso Robles in California. His winery has been doing great things in terms of sustainability and regenerative agriculture for many years. Sunny and I will be speaking with him on our 4th episode of this sustainability series here at the Vigneto podcast. You can find our podcasts on Fridays wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
This is Vigneto, a podcast.
From the sun